There's something universal about spaghetti. Whether you're twirling it on a fork in New York, slurping it in Tokyo, or savoring it with sauce in Rome, this iconic pasta has a place on dinner tables around the globe. In fact, it's so beloved that more than 16 million tons of pasta are consumed each year worldwide. But have you ever stopped to wonder how spaghetti is made on such a massive scale? How does a simple strand of dough transform into one of the most eaten foods on Earth? To find out, we're stepping inside the world's largest pasta factory. Tucked away in the culinary heart of Italy, Parma, this massive operation is the beating heart of global pasta production, churning out over 10 billion packs of spaghetti every year. And what happens inside is nothing short of mind-blowing. As you walk into the factory, the scale hits you. This isn't just pasta making, it's a 24/7 industrial symphony. On any given day, up to 1,400 tons of noodles are produced. Each production line hums at full speed, pumping out nearly 10,000 pounds of pasta per hour. That's enough spaghetti to serve the entire planet in just over a year. The factory crafts more than 110 different pasta shapes, but today, we're focused on the classic spaghetti. It all starts with wheat, and lots of it. Massive trucks haul in loads of durum wheat, each carrying around 45 tons. The wheat is immediately unloaded onto underground conveyor belts that whisk it away to the cleaning section. Here, an army of machines removes everything from stones to seeds to make sure the grain is pure and ready for milling. Once cleaned, the wheat is transferred into towering steel silos where temperature and humidity are strictly regulated. Silos can hold a jaw-dropping 600,000 tons of grain at any time. Next comes the milling process, where steel rollers crush the kernels, separating the soft white interior, called endosperm, from the tougher bran and germ. The resulting crushed material is filtered through a series of ultrafine screens to extract semolina, the golden flour that's perfect for pasta. The screens grow finer with each round, and only when the particles reach just the right size, about 8 microns, is the flour deemed ready. It's this exact particle size that helps semolina blend evenly with water and absorb moisture efficiently. Two things that are critical for pasta texture. The recipe for dried spaghetti might seem almost too simple. Just semolina and water. But don't be fooled by the simplicity. Precision here is everything. The flavor, firmness, and that perfect al dente bite all come down to exact ratios and timing. Around 20% of the semolina comes from Italy, giving the pasta a distinct, traditional flavor. The rest is imported from wheat powerhouses like Canada and the US, where the higher protein content helps build a firmer, more elastic noodle. By blending different types of wheat, the factory creates a dough that's flavorful, stretchy, and strong enough to hold up to boiling and sauce. Once the wheat blend is perfected, it's time to mix. The semolina is weighed down to the gram and fed into massive mixers with a carefully calculated dose of water. The goal is to hydrate the flour quickly, without creating clumps. The mixture that forms doesn't look like dough just yet. Sits dry and crumbly, more like wet sand than something you'd roll out with a pin. That's where the auger comes in, a giant screw system that compresses and kneads the dough under intense pressure. This step helps bring the semolina and water together into a dense, unified mass. From here, the dough goes through a unique sifting process that filters out any large clumps, ensuring that only the finest, evenly hydrated particles continue down the line. These aren't just quality checks, they're essential for protecting the high-precision machinery up next to prep the dough for extrusion. It's first compacted into small, uniform pellets. This pelletizing step is crucial because it squeezes out excess air and creates consistency and density. Without it, the dough could form bubbles, making the final spaghetti weak or brittle. And nobody wants pasta that breaks before it hits the pot. The pellets are then warmed slightly to about 91 degrees Fahrenheit, just enough to soften the dough for shaping without cooking it. Now comes the extrusion, where the real transformation happens. The pellets are pushed through bronze dies, which are specialized, shaping molds that define the size and texture of the spaghetti. Bronze is chosen not only for its durability, but also because it gives the pasta a slightly rough surface, perfect for gripping sauces and making every bite more satisfying. As the spaghetti strands emerge from the extruder, they're immediately cut to length and arranged in long vertical curtains that swing gently as they move through the drying chambers. Drying is one of the most critical parts of pasta production. If done too fast or at the wrong temperature, the pasta can crack or become rubbery. This factory uses a multi-stage drying system where warm, dry air circulates around the noodles for up to 24 hours. The process is carefully controlled to reduce the internal moisture content from about 30% to less than 12%, ensuring the spaghetti will be shelf-stable and durable enough for transport and cooking. Each drying room is monitored by sensors that adjust airflow and heat in real time, adapting to the density and length of the pasta strands. Once the spaghetti is fully dried, it heads to the final inspection and packaging lines. Before it's boxed up, each batch goes through optical scanners and metal detectors to make sure the product is flawless and safe. Anything that doesn't meet quality standards, whether it's a cracked strand or a color variation, is removed immediately. The accepted spaghetti is then portioned, weighed, and sealed into airtight packaging. Labels are applied, expiration dates printed, and the boxes are palletized for shipping to grocery stores all around the world. From farm to fork, the entire process is a marvel of efficiency, engineering, and culinary tradition. What's incredible is how this seemingly simple food, just wheat and water, requires such precision to perfect. Whether you're tossing it in marinara, twirling it in Alfredo, or serving it with meatballs at Sunday dinner, spaghetti is more than just a staple. It's a global symbol of comfort, culture, and connection. And now you know that every box on the shelf represents a complex journey through silos, sifters, augers, and drying tunnels, all to deliver the perfect bite to your plate. There's something magical about a perfect plate of spaghetti. Whether it's drenched in rich marinara, tossed in creamy Alfredo, or simply dressed with olive oil and garlic, it's a dish that brings comfort, flavor, and satisfaction to dinner tables around the world. But behind every strand of pasta lies a fascinating, high-tech journey that transforms a handful of humble ingredients into millions of meals every single day. This isn't just a story about boiling water and twirling forks, it's about industrial precision, cutting-edge machinery, and centuries of Italian pasta-making tradition upgraded for the modern world. It all starts with a firm, compacted dough made from semolina flour and water. This dough is pressed through a precisely engineered metal dia tool that gives the pasta its shape. For spaghetti, the die has long, narrow holes that produce thin, uniform strands with flawless straightness. The pressure is intense. The dough is forced through at over 100 times the normal atmospheric pressure, creating an uninterrupted stream of perfectly formed spaghetti. Inside a single factory, this powerful extrusion system can produce up to 11,000 spaghetti strands per minute. It's over 270,000 feet of pasta every 60 seconds. An astonishing number when you consider how quickly it disappears from your plate at home. Once the spaghetti reaches its standard length, a sharp rotating blade slices through the strands with surgical precision. A system of comb-like metal arms, acting like a giant hairbrush, gently separates and aligns the noodles into neat sheets, visually stunning curtains of pasta that span over a meter wide. These flowing pasta sheets are carefully moved onto mechanical rails and trimmed to a uniform 26 inches. At this stage, the spaghetti still contains about 30% moisture, which is ideal for the next phase, drying. Drying is one of the most critical steps in the process. The spaghetti enters a vast drying system, essentially a high-tech automated version of traditional outdoor pasta drying racks. Every hour, approximately 6 tons of spaghetti flow through this system, suspended like laundry on rows of moving frames. The visual is striking, and it harkens back to the days when pasta was left to dry in the warm breezes of southern Italy. Today, though, the process is completely controlled inside industrial drying chambers. These massive steel enclosures use enormous amounts of electricity enough to power more than 30,000 homes. But this energy isn't wasted. Every watt is used to maintain exact heat and humidity levels that carefully draw moisture out of the pasta over time. In the first hour, the spaghetti loses about 10% of its moisture through gentle heating, then moves through 3 additional heating phases, gradually bringing its moisture content down to 12%. This is the perfect level for shelf-stable pasta, allowing it to be stored for months or even years without preservatives. The drying process is delicate. Too much heat, and the strands become brittle and crack. Too little, and moisture remains trapped inside, shortening shelf life and compromising texture. That's why each pasta shape and thickness has its own dedicated chamber 120 in total, each tuned to precise temperature and time settings. Thinner varieties, like spaghetti, which measure under 1.7 millimeters in diameter, dry faster than traditional spaghetti, which is closer to 2.0 millimeters and delivers a heartier bite. After spending up to 12 hours in the drying chambers, the spaghetti still isn't quite ready to be packed. It needs to cool down gradually to room temperature to preserve its texture and structure. The noodles are moved into a sealed cooling chamber where powerful fans circulate cool, dry air across tiered conveyor belts. This controlled airflow gently pulls out residual heat from the strands without shocking the pasta. Once cooled, the spaghetti glides forward to the next phase, precision cutting, while spaghetti is traditionally measured about 20 inches in Italy. Today's strands are usually trimmed to a more practical 10 inches to fit easily into household cookware. The cutting process is fully automated. Sheets of golden pasta move gracefully through high-speed blades that slice every strand to the exact millimeter. The motion is smooth and synchronized, like watching an industrial ballet unfold. The result is a flawless finish. Every strand is clean-cut, consistent, and picture-perfect, ready to be boxed and shipped across the globe. Even though the pasta looks complete, it still has to pass one last test before it can be packaged. Samples from each batch are subjected to a series of durability checks. These include bending, stretching, and twisting the strands to simulate real-world handling during shipping and cooking. Only the strongest, most flexible spaghetti passes the test. Meanwhile, the packaging area hums with the speed and accuracy of modern automation. Computer-controlled systems calculate the exact amount of pasta needed for each package. Stainless steel chutes funnel strands into bags with pinpoint accuracy, meeting strict weight standards. Down to the gram, that's high-tech packaging machine is a marvel on its own. It can fill 10 bags of pasta each, weighing 9 pounds in just 1 minute. Running at full speed, it pumps out up to 60 bags per minute. That kind of output is crucial to keeping pace with worldwide demand. Every year, over 1 million tons of pasta are produced, packed, and distributed to more than 100 countries. From the distribution center in Italy alone, over 100 tons of pasta leave the facility daily. Roughly 65% of it is bound for export markets, including the U.S., where Americans consume more pasta per person than almost any other country outside of Italy. In fact, this factory alone produces enough spaghetti each day to serve nearly 30 million plates, so the next time you reach into your pantry and pull out a box of spaghetti, take a moment to appreciate what's gone into it. Behind that simple shape is a world of innovation, tradition, precision, and passion. From durum wheat transformed into dough, to strands dried with care and cut with exactness, Every step is part of a carefully tuned process that ensures your spaghetti cooks just right al dente, firm, and ready to soak up your favorite sauce. Whether you're whipping up a weeknight marinara, loading your pasta with meatballs and parmesan, or experimenting with your own signature creation, know that your spaghetti came from a place where technology meets tradition in one of the most delicious ways possible. And now we want to hear from you. How do you enjoy your spaghetti? Do you stick to the classics, or do you get creative in the kitchen? Drop your go-to spaghetti recipe or topping combo in the comments, and let's share some culinary inspiration. If you loved this inside look at how pasta is made, give this a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the hidden world of food production. Thanks for reading in.